I want to show everyone the Klobuchar. I know we have it ready. Just
Yeah,
on
sure.
tariffs, because I think this is important in light of everything that's going on today. So if we can show that Klobuchar clip on Meet the Press,
Sure.
that would be great.
By all means, let's do it.
Obviously, I'd like to see less fentanyl come into our country, and that should be on the table for discussion. But the way this has been handled from the very beginning, Kristen, and the American people know it, chaos is up, corruption is up, and costs are up. Well, sure, I'm glad they're talking, but they have assessed 10% to 25% tariffs on our allies, the very people that we would need, our friends and allies, in order to deal with China. So to me, they've been approaching this all upside down. Targeted tariffs, yes, but they should be working within trade agreements like the Canada-Mexico trade agreement with the U.S. to strengthen that instead of these across-the-board tariff taxes on all Americans, and now a baby tax.
So I think the key thing was the question that she got asked, which is if Trump is successful in doing this, will you admit that he was right? And again, it's now we're going back to the process. And I think that's important just because Democrats, it's funny, if Trump is, and Dan, always makes the caveat that like we'll have to wait and see, but they can't even now admit, hey, if it actually ends up working, will you admit that he, deserves some credit? And it's like, well, the chaos was, and again, this just gets back to my whole point. It's always about we don't like how we did it. Well, the way that it's been done for decades hasn't really worked well. So it's amazing that that's the fallback position now.
Well, I think if he is able to truly materially get like a real deal done, he will borderline be on Mount Rushmore. He will have taken on the Chinese and broken them. And that amen for the United States of America. The flip side to this is if all of this is about, and what we get is a fentanyl deal, I think he has done real damage in the minds of voters for what they've gone through and what potentially was on the, horizon, because people knew it in their communities, in their businesses. So I think he better get a really good deal. And if he does, he deserves credit.
I just to back this up, because I know you didn't mean this, Dan. But like a fentanyl deal is a huge, I hope and believe he'll get more than that. I want market access, but the idea of stopping fentanyl flowing into this country is a massive deal. The number of people who are killed and injured because of what fentanyl is doing in communities is in itself. So let's just make sure.
John, you would agree putting the entire U.S. economy on the brink with fentanyl deal was not what he pitched.
No. Just to be and again, that's why.
But yes, in a vacuum, huge.
What I want is market access, and I want a fairer playing system. That being said, if we walk away with a massive fentanyl deal that protects our country, you know what? Maybe that's not what I entirely wanted, but I think the idea of that many lives being protected is worth a couple days of disruption.
And just to be clear, what I want is a change in the dynamic that's pervaded for 50 years where we had no leverage over the Chinese. And whether that leverage is in service of bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. or getting more access to the Chinese market or having them deal with fentanyl or having them be less of a military and diplomatic threat in Asia or Africa or Latin America, I'm for all of it. And anything that gets us leverage. And Joe Biden did nothing to get us leverage. He kept most of the Trump policies in place. Secretary Betts this morning said that the Chinese say that Biden people didn't enforce them. I don't know if that's true or not, but
they lectured. Remember that first meeting in Alaska? They lectured. The Chinese literally told Jake Sullivan to sit down. I mean, we didn't have leverage. We were treated like petulant little children. So the dynamic is flipped, and we need to reassert our aggressiveness, our authority, our dominance. And I think if anything else, that's happened.
All right, I agree.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.